Welcome to the Tuttle Kline Show.
How you doing, man?
Good, buddy. How are you recovering from Beryl?
Hurricane Beryl was very interesting.
A barrel of laughs?
Was not a barrel of laughs. You know what? It was kind of a mixed bag. And, you know, I say this knowing that still a lot of people don't have power a week later.
Are you serious?
Kev, I have no idea what's going on. Far worse storms in the past, like Rita and Ike and Harvey. It wasn't this bad. There's a lot of stuff underneath the surface, a lot of corruption, greed, and things that are happening because of the world we're in today.
Well, I remember when we had a heat wave down there and the grid collapsed. I thought they fixed that shit.
You know, who knows? Ted Cruz is going to call for hearings. What I'm hearing.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's ridiculous, man. It was not that bad of a storm compared to previous storms that we've dealt with.
Yeah, there's a lot of anger out there.
I'm sure there is.
A lot. Just like, what the hell's going on? You know, I can remember in storms past, you would have a FEMA presence. I mean, does FEMA even exist anymore? I'm in the middle of it, and I've heard or seen nothing from FEMA.
Really?
Nothing. And the fact that 2-3 million people in Texas are without power and facing 100-degree days, and you're sending money to Ukraine in the billions. That's a lot of people are at Kev. I listened because I was out of power for 58 and a half hours.
I know you were.
So, you know, what you do is you start talking with people. You know, you're outside, you're talking to people. And Kev.
You had to love that.
A lot of anger, man.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, just a lot of people and people that you wouldn't expect, you know, are very, very angry. It's inexcusable that you would leave the fourth largest city in America naked and not give a shit. And you're talking about wars in European countries and in the Soviet Union, you know, Russia.
Well, I mean, you talk about anger. I mean, we saw it on Saturday. We saw anger on Saturday.
There is, and we talked about this, that this is going to be a very interesting year.
Mm-hmm.
But first off, Kev, let's getting back to the hurricane. It made me wonder what the hell people did before there was air conditioning to survive Houston summers.
Yeah, well, I grew up on a street in St. Louis where there were 9 people in the family, and they were German immigrants, and they did not believe in electricity. They were rural Germans, and so they didn't have electricity. And what did they do during the hot summer St. Louis months where it was very humid? They would open all the windows, and they would have fans in the windows and blow the air out or in.
And some older people were saying, hey, you know, you don't miss what you never had.
True.
You know, the reason why it's a big deal is because we're used to a very comfortable 72 degrees when we walk into our house. And when we can't do that, you know, because we're used to it, it brings out anger.
Oh,
whereas this older guy was just like, hey, man, we didn't know. I mean, when we were outside, we'd look for a tree with some shade. And we stay under a tree, and during the middle of the day when it was the hottest, we weren't too active. We weren't playing our hijinks.
You remember growing up and playing Little League Baseball, and yeah, I mean, you played in a northern city, a northern state, but it still got humid and warm where you played. We would go out and play 3 games on a Saturday in 100-degree weather, and we didn't care. Now we wouldn't even go out for 3 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, Audrey did that when she played softball. I mean, the All-Star softball, if you remember back in 2010, that was some heavy heat. I mean, I can remember sometimes our catcher, I can look at our catcher and the eyes are rolling the back of her head. And I'm literally hydrating her in between hitters.
I don't doubt it. I mean, I was a catcher. I know what that heat, that uniform does, the equipment.
But yeah, you just, you know, you don't know. If you don't know it, you know, for me growing up in Wisconsin and Indiana, our problem was the winter.
Yeah, for sure.
Our problem is some of those late season football games could be 9 degrees.
That's why you watch them.
Exactly.
From the comfort of your home.
I can remember a few times watching some icicles on my face mask.
Oh,
Drip down from my face mask.
Yeah. Yeah. You're running around and playing though, so you don't really feel as cold as the idiots who are sitting there watching you play.
No, when you're on a football field, it's war. And if you're distracted, you're in trouble.
Yeah. You
got to have your head on a swivel and you don't give a shit what's going on. You just notice, like, when the other teams, I played defense, when the other team's in the huddle, it's like, oh, cool. It's hanging from, that's kind of cool, guys. And then that other quarterback goes break and they start coming out and they forget about everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I had kind of a mixed bag. I mean, there was some misery during the hurricane being, 58 and a half hours with no electricity. And yes, I was counting. And just some spiritual stuff, some introspective stuff. I was, just thinking about things, thinking about life, and, how nice it was that, because I couldn't charge my phone, that I really couldn't use it much.
I didn't miss it at all when I didn't have one.
I kind of enjoyed that.
Dude, it's amazing.
I kind of enjoyed that. I honestly think that you should, and I want to eventually get there, is I'm going to look at it in the morning. Kids are okay. No emergencies. Great. Look at it maybe in the afternoon for 3 or 4 or 5 hours later. Kids are okay. No emergencies. And then look at it at night. That's it.
Pretty much what I do. I only have a phone because of my business. I didn't have one for like 5 or 6 months. And Trish goes, if you're going to do this business, you're going to have to get a phone. People are going to need to contact you. But the guy that directed the Batman trilogy and Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan, does not have a phone, does not have a computer.
And we've talked about this. All the executives at Apple and Samsung, their children do not have phones. They don't.
Yeah.
Because they know what it's really all about.
Mm-hmm.
You're a slave. You're not paying attention to things.
Nope.
We can get away with a lot if you're, worried about what's going on social media, like how many likes you got and everything like that. We can get away with murder.
Sign in with Google.
Exactly.
I don't want to put my password in. I'll just sign in with Google. Boom. Automatically I'm in. Yeah. There's consequences to that.
Yeah, exactly. But, getting back to, obviously the entire world is talking about the Trump hit.
Yeah. We record this on Monday, so it just happened this past Saturday. I mean, it's global news. It's
very, very suspicious. I get accused a lot of being conspiracy guy, but how does a dude get on a rooftop 130 yards away from where the former president and leading candidate with a rifle? It's a white roof too, so he sticks out. And he not only does that, he gets to put a ladder up there. He's walking right up there. He's got a rifle. They're bear crawling. Hundreds of people in the crowd are saying he's up there. And he's allegedly our Secret Service snipers, Kev, had him in the scope, but let him fire first.
Oh, I don't know anything about them having him in the scope and letting him fire first. I don't know.
Yeah. Before they killed him, they let him fire first, because they got to kill him, so he doesn't talk.
Okay.
So it's just very suspicious. And it's suspicious. I'm in Kroger yesterday and I'm hearing soccer moms, talking about doesn't look right. This is our government is scary. This is nasty. When soccer moms are doing that, that's a big deal.
Okay. I agree. I even if soccer moms aren't talking about it, it's still a big deal. I talk about it in the Fuzzy Mike. I don't know why anybody would want that job. Okay. 4 of our presidents have been assassinated going in order. It was Lincoln, then Garfield, then McKinley, and then JFK in 1963. JFK turned this whole country on its head. And you talk about that all the time, Tim, that was basically the end of our democracy. Because
it was over.
Yeah. And that's what you say. then
Do you disagree with me though? I mean, we have been ruled by a shadow government.
see, I don't know what to believe. Okay. I don't listen to the same programs or read the same material that you read. And honestly, even if I did, I don't know if I would believe it. Look what I did last week on the Fuzzy Mike. I had you saying all different kinds of shit. You know, I mean, it could be AI generated now. It could be bots talking about stuff like this. It could be foreign interference. I just don't know what to believe. And that's what I say in my Fuzzy Mike this week. That's one of the reasons why you have this kind of anger, because you have way too much programming, way too much content, way too many channels to get information from. People are going to be making shit up all the time for ratings.
Yeah, and Kevin, yeah, that's one of the things that I got introspective about is man, I'm going to try not to let all of that shit, because if you really look at it, you still have your normal days.
Sure.
You know, when that stops, when, you know, you got some kind of Gestapo on the street corner watching you,
Mhm.
you know, when that stops, that's different. Or if they start like going door to door and taking guns, or going door to door to strap you down to a gurney and give you a vaccine. I mean, that's different. But, you know, my life is not really too affected on a day-to-day basis.
No, and mine isn't either. And we're very fortunate about that. One of the things that I did, because you're always talking about how the media is baiting this, okay? And we've been a part of the media. We know how the media works. But I did see it firsthand. I did see it on Saturday on ABC News's coverage of the Trump assassination attempt. And it was very, well, it was enlightening, number one, but it was very disgusting at the same time. You had Whit Johnson at the anchor desk, and anytime he would talk to an eyewitness, be it a civilian or a politician who was there, he would try and bait them into talking about the other party. Okay. Yeah. They were talking to a guy who's running for Senate, and Trump was supposed to bring him up on stage sometime during the rally. And I would vote for this guy in a heartbeat just based on his answer, because Whit Johnson asked him point blank, so how does this make you feel about our political process that this happened during the campaign? Wanting him to absolutely just rail on the Democrats, right? The guy didn't say that. The guy said, well, you know what? We don't know what happened here. And so I'm not going to make a comment on that until all the information is out. But I think first and foremost, we have a human being that got shot. And I think that's where our attention needs to be.
Yeah.
He didn't take the bait, but they were trying to bait him, and they were trying to bait every single one of them.
They're just evil, man. I mean, they are evil. You know, let me send word out to mainstream media, the anchors and everything like that. If we do ever have a post-apocalypse situation, do not tell people what you are and what you've done, you know, what your job was, because you will be literally on a campfire with an apple in your mouth spinning around later that night.
Welcome to the luau.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they are just, Kev, it is evil. And a lot of it is propaganda. Some of it is, hey, I just have to get attention.
But it's all about ratings.
Yeah.
It's all about ratings.
I have to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and again, this is all stuff that I am regurgitating now that you can check out on the Fuzzy Mike. You brought up the Secret Service, and I'm very fortunate in my life that I know very well. I'm very closely connected to two Secret Service agents. One is still active and one is retired. And I got a message from the retired one who laid out 9 points of why it is so difficult and why this guy got so close to President Trump, 130 yards away, to take that shot.
Okay.
It's fascinating.
Okay. Well, Kev, you know, still, man, they have all kinds of technology. They got infrared, they've got drones, you know, they've got people that should be sweeping on the outside. Let me tell you this, if hundreds of people within the facility are screaming minutes beforehand that there's somebody on the roof with a gun, bear crawling, there's no excuse. You could take the 9 points all you want. You got to be able to get there.
Well, he lays out the point why they didn't and why they couldn't. You cannot leave your post, even if you are a police officer from Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania that's been hired by the Secret Service, which they do because they're underpowered. That's what he says.
What did he say in his points on why the snipers didn't take a shot until after the assailant fired?
That was not addressed in his points.
Exactly.
Okay. I know this guy. You don't. So I talk about his character. This guy is the utmost character.
I'm not indicting him at all. I'm just telling you that
you just did.
No, not at all. I'm just like if they have him in the scope, why didn't they fire?
I don't know. Apparently he didn't know that. He didn't address that. I mean,
okay.
he sent this to me the day after it happened.
Okay.
So I don't know. But you saying, all right, that was kind of an indictment on him.
No, I mean, it wasn't meant as an indictment. I'm just saying is if you why do you wait?
Well, I mean,
that's your job. You have one job.
Yeah.
If you have somebody on a roof that's got the president, the former president, and possible future president in the scope, and you got him in the scope, you light him up.
You have to.
You have to light him up.
I agree. You have to. So I don't know the answer to that. And CF did not say anything about that in his message. So what is your theory on the shooter, the 20-year-old shooter? What is
they can't. I don't know anything about him. More likely than not, I mean, he's either some trained CIA patsy, or he's just some psycho that somebody worked on, pushed him to do it, because they do that too. They do that too. The intelligence community likes to work on feeble minds. I don't know, but I will say this is they had to shut him up, and B, there are a lot of people that have a huge fear of a second Trump administration because they've shit on him. They've put him through shit. God knows the crimes against humanity during this COVID shit. They're worried about tribunals in the end of January of next year. So there are powerful forces that have a vested interest in making sure Donald Trump never, ever puts his hand on the Bible and raises his hand in January.
If the intelligence community got to this guy and hired him, wouldn't they have chosen somebody who made their high school rifle team? This guy did not make his high school rifle team. He's not a good shooter.
I don't know, Kev. These are all great questions. He had a scope on him and he knew it. He had just allegedly backed down a police officer off the ladder.
I have read that, yes.
His heart's beating, whatever. And he came a half inch away from mission accomplished.
Oh, he came millimeters away. I mean,
exactly. So you can say that about being a bad shot all you want, but I think that, you show, and it shows it right there, right at the last second, Trump had a head cock, a head movement that probably saved his life.
It saved his life for sure.
And I'll say this is, a lot of people get on me. I'm a little antsy, caffeine and all that stuff. And I'm glad I do that, because if somebody gets me in the scope,
Timmy's moving in a zigzag line all the time.
Exactly. You got to really zone in, man.
Yeah. Another thing about this will be more scrutinized than JFK. Okay. And the reason why is because we have more cameras out there now, and every one of us is a videographer. So there's more footage to cull from, and there's more witnesses.
And Kev, back in 1963, it was a much more innocent country. The people wanted to believe what the authorities were telling them. Now we don't trust a fucking word they say.
We really don't trust anybody anymore.
No. They all have been caught lying to us. They all have been caught in corruption and have not been convicted and not been charged and whatever. So the people are just like, there's nothing that you can tell me that I'll believe. I don't believe a word they say. Nothing. I mean, if mainstream media or the federal government looked at me and said, "Hey, the sky is blue, Tim," I'd still look up, to double check, because I don't trust a fucking thing either of them say.
Well, I mean, this is all negative stuff, and this is what I talk about with the fuzzy mic too. But I want to inject some positivity into this. I know
Please.
me, right?
Please do.
Mr. Doom and Gloom. The same rhetoric that's being spewed by both campaigns right now is called rage rhetoric. And I read this on an article on thehill.com written by a professor of public law at George Washington University. His name is Jonathan Turley. And I did not know. I thought this was unprecedented times for this rhetoric, this political hate speech. Okay. It's not. It goes back to 1800. Thomas Jefferson in 1800 was running for the Jeffersonians. John Adams was running for the Federalist Party. The Federalist Party said that if Thomas Jefferson was elected into office, then rape, murder, and pretty much everything else that you could picture under the sun that would be heinous against people would become not only taught, but legalized. Rape, murder, incest, all that stuff would have been legalized. On the other hand, Thomas Jefferson was saying this about John Adams. John Adams gets reelected. They're going to start the transportation trains. There's going to be your death right on the spot. They're going to put you right up in what they call the gibbets, but it's the gallows, right on the spot. No questions, no trial, nothing. They're going to go around and start killing people that don't believe what their system is. So it dates back to the 1800s. Now, here's the positive spin on this. Going through it again right now. But after 1800 all the way to 2024, we have had some calm times and we've had some real prosperous times.
So you think this is cyclical? This is an end of days?
There you go, buddy. Right there. I do.
Okay.
Everything comes around again.
Absolutely. And I hope you're right. And again, we've been alive when we've seen America come together.
Absolutely.
After 9/11, the hockey team in 1980, the U.S. hockey team in 1980. I remember those times. Kevin, even like right after the Gulf War started in 91, Whitney Houston.
Oh yeah.
With the national anthem at the Super Bowl. I mean, we had no differences then.
None.
And something may happen along those lines where, sure, you're a totalitarian fascist commie, but hell, you're my totalitarian fascist commie. Come here and let me give me a noogie. I'm going to give you a noogie. You know what I'm saying?
I know, man. I say it. We all live in the same country. And, you can sit there and say, well, he ain't my president. Well, he ain't my president. Well, you know what? You live in this country, so he is your president. Respect the fucking office, okay?
See, that's the thing, too. That's something I don't understand. I have my own personal opinions.
Yeah, we all do.
About presidents, but I never call for, the nastiness that you see done, regardless, because, hey, man, that's who we have. Yeah, there are some suspicious circumstances on how he got there, but, that's our guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're right.
I have disagreed with a lot of presidents. I have never hated a president. Never hated a president. Okay. And the reason why is because you can't hate your leader. You just can't.
Well,
because it's a bad optic. You cannot hate your leader.
Well, not only that, but it's a situation where like the reason you're judging is you have your viewpoints and you have your, people that you listen to and everything like that. I mean, let's say, for example, you don't like Obama. I don't like Obama. Hated him. Communist. God damn it. Big government son of a bitch. If you were ever alone in a room with him, he would be a buddy to you.
Yeah.
You would shake his hand. You'd be smiling ear to ear, glad to meet him. You'd be like, let's go get a beer. It's on me. And he'd have a beer with you and you would be buds. I mean, that's just how it is.
Well, Tim, you and I both know this from firsthand experience because we've met George H.W. Bush and we've met George W. Bush. They're different people when they're out of office. They're likable people when they're out of office.
Well, not only that, but even when they're in the office, A, because of the office and who they are, and B, because of their ability to charm. I mean, how the fuck do you think they got there?
Yeah, true.
You will not like them. Kevin, reminds me of our interview that we had with Bret Michaels, the lead singer of Poison.
Yeah.
He, when I was married, Eric and I were married, she met him and it gave him just like a long he gave her like a long kiss, on the cheek or whatever, and it was like extended. So I was like, that ain't cool, dude.
Oh, right.
And then we interviewed him, and within 5 minutes of talking to him, it's like, God, I like Bret Michaels. How do you not like this guy? I mean, he practically made out with my wife, but I like him.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. I mean, again, you can say even Biden, who, yes, he doesn't seem all there. There's some cognitive issues. If you were alone with him, he'd fetch you a root beer and he'd be, hey, so tell me about how things are going in Houston, Texas. And
let me tell you, Mr. President, we're sweating our asses off down here, and your organization hasn't done anything for us.
And you know what he'd say? To go, I didn't know that. I got a lot on my plate. I'm going to look into that after this. Hey, look at that right there. Hey, Jose Canseco's in the White House. Did you ever met Jose? And then the next thing you know, it's like, oh, you're disarmed.
Yeah. Oh, well, and remember, and this is psychology. People only show you what they want you to know. People only show you what they want you to see. Okay. And the media, we've never met Biden. So a small amount of people know who Joe Biden is. And the media tries to tell you who he is. And guess what? If you told me a story right now, Tim, I guarantee by the time I told it to somebody else and they told it to somebody else, it would have changed 5 times.
Well, not only that, it's you put a lot more worth than need to be in regards to, the power of the president. They don't have the power.
You surround yourself with good people who make good decisions, and the buck stops with you. That's it.
They don't run the country. The people who got you there run the country.
Yeah.
Whether it be the people who paid the millions and millions of dollars to get you there, or the people who told you what to say and when to say it, they run the country.
Yeah. Oh, I've long said that the president is a figurehead.
Absolutely. Because it's too much.
Way too big.
Of a Rubik's Cube for one brain to wrap its head around.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example here. Trump got some heat because he didn't reveal all or release all of the JFK files that they've had hidden for 60 years. And he honestly told somebody, and I can't forget who he was talking to. I want to say Mark Levine or somebody like that. He said, I can't release that. If you saw it, you wouldn't be able to either. It'd be an instant civil war.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So, just imagine some of the shit. Okay, you become the president. Inauguration's done, the parade, everything's great. Then they bring you in and brief you. And you see everything that, a president sees and has to know and everything like that. It changes everything. It doesn't matter what you said on the campaign trail.
Mm-hmm.
There's some shit that you can never do for reasons, that are revealed to you and what you know and only you and, a select few know. And that's why I do a lot of research on stuff so I can ready myself and my kids or whatever if something were to happen. Because I know they're not going to like a meteor coming that's dead on going to hit us and kill everything on the planet. They would never tell us about that.
Oh, it would be mass panic. It would be pandemonium.
Exactly. That's exactly why. It would immediately go to a crazed lunacy on the streets and everything would be over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so that's why I like to do outside research all the time. So I know and have an idea of the stuff that possibly could be happening that they would never tell us about.
Well, actually, this portion of a conversation leads me to 2 things. Number one, that we pretty much have a definitive timeline for the end of Earth, according to scientists.
Yeah. Oh, please tell me. I want to hear this.
Well, get your affairs in order, Timmy T. There is a life cycle for stars. Stars just burn out. Stars lose their life. Planets are stars. So Earth has a definitive life cycle, and it's coming up. The end. 250 million years
from now.
Yeah, we've got 250 million years left of our planet. So
I'm cool.
I'm cool.
I'm good. I was gonna go steal a Lamborghini until you said 250 million years.
But think about this, okay? 250 million years sounds like a lot to us, right? They say that the galaxy or the has been around for billions of years. So, I mean, think about that. It's such a short amount of time, 250 million compared to billions of years.
Yeah.
You know, they had the richest man in Asia. His son just got married over the weekend. They spent $600 million on the wedding. They paid Justin Bieber $10 million to come play the reception. And they did the equation is like us paying $8.67 for a sandwich.
Wow. Well, see, that's why they gave Michael Jordan all the shit because he was losing millions gambling.
Yeah.
And he finally said, get some perspective. If I lose $3 million, that's $27 to you.
That's right. Yep.
Are you gonna call Gamblers Anonymous if you lose $27?
No.
No.
The other aspect of this, and I don't know if you've been following this, but the courts in Oklahoma want to release all of Toby Keith's financial information. You know,
why? What's up?
Toby died earlier this year, and so it all went into an estate, and his wife and kids are the beneficiaries of this estate. But apparently, there is some sort of a catch that they need to have they need to have all of his business dealings disclosed before the courts will release it. I don't know the actual reason why, but here's the deal: his wife is now in court trying to block this because she said if people found out Toby's business dealings, our family would be targeted.
Really?
Yeah. Our family would be targeted. So it's actually a danger for us to release this information to the public.
I wonder what that means.
Maybe secretly he did root for OSU.
That could be it too.
You never know.
That could be it too. You never know, man. I mean, it's Big 12 football, man.
That's right.
That shit is serious, Kline.
I know.
Yeah. And Kev, I was thinking of just with all the and you talked me down from it, but I actually spent a lot of time this weekend, like looking at different countries to move to.
I talked you down from what?
I was seriously thinking of pulling up the stakes and like going to Lima, Peru.
Oh, what's stopping you?
I don't know. Kids.
Yeah, I can understand. That I can understand.
Yeah. Otherwise,
everything we do can be done from any location in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same lifestyle at 40% of the cost.
Mm-hmm. It's the same lifestyle insofar as they have the same amenities. Tim, it is radically different lifestyles. If you were to check out Costa Rica or Panama, it's so laid back, dude. It is. Costa Rica is right up your freaking alley, bro. I mean, It is just, it's peace. It's laid back. It's waves coming in from the ocean, crashing into the beach and the mountains. Oh, dude, it's nice.
You should buy a place there and just let me rent it. Because what I was thinking, Kev, is I may be like, okay, that was fun. I just did a year in Costa Rica. Now I'm going to go to Thailand.
Yeah, that's definitely, you would have to do it in 6-month increments because that's how long the visas last, 6 months.
But here's the thing is, you can fill out the retirement visas in places like Panama and Peru and stuff like that. They want you there.
They do want you there. They make it very, very friendly to bring in expats. But all you have to do, because the realtor that we were working with in Costa Rica, this is how he does it because he's not a permanent citizen, but he still has a job there. He's from Canada. Every 5 months and 28 days, he leaves the country, goes back to Canada, and then comes back and fills out another 6-month visa.
That's funny.
That's what he does.
That's funny.
All you got to do.
They make it easy, don't they?
Yeah, they do, man. They make it easy.
And then you have this apartment, this 2-bedroom apartment. It's right on the ocean, $320 a month.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. So you never know, Kev. I may be firing off a text to you sometime saying, you know what, I'm out. Oh, you wouldn't want to do this still?
Oh, we'll do this.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things. There's 2 things that the country's got to have, and this is why Lima, Peru is perfect. They have to have good internet, high speed. Because I got to trade too, and I got to do our podcast. And I got to be able to sports bet.
I hereby declare Miami to be Smooth Jimmy's lock of the week.
Ooh, that's a big lock, all right. But I just don't trust that guy. In the Cincinnati-Miami game, I declare Cincinnati to be my shoo-in of the week.
They both make a good case.
Even though we live in the freest country in the world, I, as an American, I can't sports bet here in the state of Texas, and the United States won't allow me to bet online poker. Because, they know better than I do about how to live my life. So thank you, Daddy. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Can I have the keys to the car sometime?
Yes. Just hand me the bottle and make sure it's got some warm milk. I'm going to bed. Kev, what's this about hottest and coldest places on the planet you were talking about? What's going on there?
Earlier, you were talking about how that gentleman that you were talking about without air conditioning, how they would go about their day, but then in the middle of the day at the hottest, they would stop and then come back out when it wasn't. The hottest place on Earth, I watched this in a documentary. It's the hottest inhabitable places on Earth. Death Valley and Al Azaria in Libya are the two hottest places. And Al Azaria has had the hottest record in temperature, 135. And people work outside, but they do exactly what your guy said. During the hottest part of the day, they seek shade, they hydrate, and then they continue their work afterwards. Can you imagine living in 135 degree Fahrenheit?
That's crazy. But it's a dry heat, right?
Right, yeah.
I don't give a shit, man. If it's 135, I don't care how dry it is. You're still cooking.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Your flesh is cooking and you'll be done in 3 hours.
Well, and again, it's Libya. So, yeah, it's a dry heat. It's so dry, there's no water anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, the coldest place is it's called the pole of cold. Oymyakon in Siberia reached minus 96 Fahrenheit.
It's Sunday morning, and it's a day for a shower in the Yakut village. The shower in Yakut village is quite different. People here don't have water showers because pipes freezes during cold and long winters, so taking a shower might turn into the adventure. Vitaly is chopping the wood for his bathhouse. Look how much wood he needs just for one shower. This is because the temperature needs to be over 100 degrees in the steam room. It takes around 5 hours of heating. That's why people here are only able to shower once a week.
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
That's not even with wind chill factor. That's straight up.
That was straight up, yeah. Minus 96 Fahrenheit. It's the coldest temperature ever recorded in a permanently inhabitable place. Now, Antarctica has been colder recorded, but that's not permanently inhabited. So there's over 500 people that live in Oymyakon, and they have winter 9.5 months out of the year. And in those 9.5 months, if you have a car and you turn it on once, you have to let it run continuously until summer. If you turn it off, everything freezes, and you lose your car.
Are you kidding me?
No, sir.
That is crazy. See, Kev, I this. I delivered the Milwaukee Journal.
Yes.
On the coldest day in Milwaukee history. I think it was like 27 below zero, but the wind chill was at 85 below zero.
Uh-huh.
And that was almost uninhabitable.
Well, and that's coming off of water too. That's coming off Lake Michigan, right?
Lake Michigan, right on Lake Michigan.
That is a harsh cold, man.
Dude, I couldn't even believe it. I couldn't even believe it. So when it's, and that's another thing I was telling myself last week is like, hey man, at least you're not delivering the Milwaukee Journal. At least you're not delivering the Milwaukee Journal. At least you're not delivering the Milwaukee Journal.
But see, you had that experience. You have that past to call upon to know what a real hardship is. So now you can appreciate.
Oh, Kev, as soon as it came on, I mean, because I'm laying there. What I did a lot was I laid down and opened up the blind just a little bit, not too much. I don't want heat piping in.
Absolutely.
And just enough so I can read. And I was reading books. I was reading the Robert Plant biography at the time.
Okay.
And I just heard it fire up. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And you can hear like the neighbors, like there's just like a roar. It's kind of like when you're watching the Astros in the World Series.
Yeah.
And like Altuve hits a home run, the whole neighborhood, you can hear the whole neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like I'll remember that when the game where he hit it off of the Yankees, Altuve in 2019 to get us into the World Series, the walk off.
Yes.
I'll never forget that because you could hear the whole neighborhood at one time screaming.
Altuve has just sent the Astros to the World Series.
That was an amazing moment.
Yeah, you remember that, don't you? Altuve off of Chapman.
Oh, Rolls Chapman.
Yep.
Yeah, from the left side. Oh, I definitely remember it. It was magical.
Yes, that was magical.
I mean, those storybook times in Major League Baseball, when those happen, like Kirk Gibson in the World Series off of Dennis Eckersley.
But the game right now is at the plate. High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
I mean, truth is stranger than fiction. You couldn't write that stuff.
Kev, Joe Carter, Toronto Blue Jays.
Oh, my God.
Joe has had his moments. 2 balls and 2 strikes on him. Here's the pitch on the way. A swing and a belt. Left field. Way back. Blue Jays win it. The Blue Jays are World Series champions as Joe Carter hits a 3-run home run in the 9th inning, and the Blue Jays have repeated as World Series champions. Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
I mean, that's every kid's dream right there. A home run to win the World Series. We
walk-off home run to win the series, man. Yeah.
I mean, imagine how your heart is pumping when you're rounding the bag.
Dude, you couldn't contain it.
The Reggie Jackson, his 3rd home run in '77 in the World Series.
Reggie Jackson has seen 2 pitches in the strike zone tonight, 2, and he's hit them both in the seat. Goodbye.
Oh, what a blow! What a way to top it off!
All those moments. Or Bill Buckner. Oh, no, that was not, yeah.
5-5 in a delirious 10th inning. Can you believe this ball game at Shea?
Oh, brother.
3-2 to Mookie Wilson. Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Sorry, Bill.
He's never lived that down.
Never. And he had a great baseball career. He was a good player.
He
was a good player. I mean, Kev, I used to, back in those days, I loved getting the Bill Buckner trading card.
Mm-hmm.
I would be like, this is worth something. This is a good card. I like this guy. And then that happened, and it's just like he was toxic, radioactive.
That is such a strange play. We live in an era of conspiracy theories. Do you think it was set up? Do you think that was a real play?
No.
Okay.
I just think at the worst possible time a human being has a brain fart, he had a brain fart.
Yeah.
He was like, we are, in his head, we won the World Series.
Right.
And forgot to finish it.
Uh-huh. Definitely.
It's like Leon Lett when he returned the fumble. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to go down in history as having a touchdown in the Super Bowl, and then smacked out of his hands.
That's
right
right.
at the 1-yard line. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. Absolutely.
You got to finish it.
And I like hearing that because I would hate to think that those moments were set up, that they were paid off, that they were bribes. And I'm glad that you kind of put my fear aside on that.
Oh, Kev, I specifically remember 3 plays when I played ball. 2 of them when I was playing defensive back. I had interception, pick 6. The end zone was right straight ahead, nobody in front of me. And it slipped off my fingers twice.
Oh.
Twice. Because I was like, I've scored a touchdown before I catch the ball. I'm like, I scored a touchdown right here.
There you go.
And then another time, Kev, was a layup to win the game. A layup in 8th grade. And I missed it. Because I was like, because you could hear, I was at home. And, when you play a Catholic school basketball, that's a big deal. There's the fans, there's a lot of people in the fans, and they're going nuts, in the stands. And it's breakaway. I'm all alone. I'm like, I just won this fucking game, man. Molly Foy and Sarah Matthews are looking at me, you know what I'm saying? I know they're looking at me. And then boom, off the back of the fucking rim.
Yeah, there you go. So there are your poster moments for why you live in the moment and not the future.
You got to finish the deal, man. That's the deal. You got to finish it.
Hey, that was very Biden of you.
It's time to finish the job. Finish the job.
Kev, this is I like this. We got a DM from Colt.
Great name.
Yeah, obviously, man. I'm not sure where he's from, but I think it's Texas. He saw in episode 20 the clip of Pantera's huge mosh pit. Yeah. And he freaked out on that. He's a younger guy, and he freaked out on that. He was like, I cannot believe that, nobody suffocated there, but, Travis Scott, the tragedy at his show in 2021 here in Houston. And I tried to explain it to him, and then I was just like, hey, listen to the podcast and I'll explain the difference. Is Kev, I've been in many of those mosh pits.
Yes.
I've been like right in the middle of that right there. And it can be scary, but there's kind of some rules that we always had. The rules were, if somebody went down, you cleared a space to get the person up. And if somebody was having trouble, with exhaustion or breathing, or whatever, a lot of times the smaller people, the 5'6", the 5'7", would get into a precarious position. And it's up to the tall people like myself and other people to get that person up in the air and to move them out of the pit. Mm-hmm. And that was the thing, is it just seemed to me at the Travis Scott show when I watched the video that they weren't lifting the people up and bringing them. You wave them over to the side. You like literally from one person to another get them where they can get air.
They crowd surf without their knowledge because they're basically passed out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's what happens in a mosh pit. You've seen it before many of the times. Somebody goes down or some smaller person is getting smothered a little bit. Bigger people get them up in the air and they crowd surf them over to the side, and then security's over to the side and they get the paramedic and all that stuff.
Yeah, Timmy, I'm approaching 55 and my mosh pit days are long past, but I still go to those concerts that I went to when I was in my early 20s and when I was going to the mosh pit. And they are violent mosh pits.
Yes.
And if somebody goes down, they stop everything they're doing.
They do.
As a matter of fact, I was in a pit one time where the person was wearing like running shorts and their wallet fell out and money went all over the place in the mosh pit. The mosh pit stopped. And everybody gathered the money together and gave it back to this person. They held it in their hands and then they went back to moshing.
Yeah. There's an etiquette.
Great word.
There's an etiquette. You don't want anybody being hurt. You don't want this concert to be headlines. You don't want Pantera to be known for this. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So you have a responsibility, and that's all it is. I mean, if you're a bigger person in a large crowd, it is your job to go ahead and have fun. You do your mosh, but if you see anything at all where it looks like somebody's in trouble, and Kev, the last thing I want to do is point fingers to small people. Sometimes some of the shorter, this is not a place for you. But if you decide to do it, it is up to the rest of us to get you out of the situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I just didn't see that when I'm watching the video of the Travis Scott. I just did not see the tall people getting people up in the air, and you have to do that.
That's the only thing you can do.
And I don't know the statistics, but I would imagine that most of the people that were harmed during that show were probably smaller build. Probably your 5'2", your 6', your 4s, your 5'1s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know the people who can't see.
Because
so they got to get close.
Because 6'2" and 6'3" didn't do their job.
Didn't do it. Not at all. Didn't do it.
Okay, so you agree?
Like, is there a lot of moshing going on at rap concerts? I mean, that's how far removed I am.
There was a wave.
You're talking about the crowd.
It was just too many people in one place at one time, and there's a wave going back and forth. But that still resembles a mosh pit. You still have the etiquette.
You definitely do.
I mean, I couldn't imagine being in that and seeing somebody go down or seeing somebody in trouble and not just saying, "Hey, let's get this person up. Let's go."
Right.
And all it takes is, I can do it myself. There are, two bigger people that get them up in the air, and literally you'll watch everybody else that is tall will wave that person over.
Mm-hmm. Just keep passing. Shuffle.
Exactly.
Shuffle.
Kev.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some rabbit holes.
Rabbit hole of the week.
Tell me what you did, sir.
It's a website that you're very familiar with. We used to talk about it all the time, and I got hooked on it again. T-shirt hell.
I love that.
Oh my God, dude.
I love that. Okay, let me say this real quick, because there's some people that may be listening or watching that will go, T-shirt hell, I got to go check that out. Some of it is very edgy. Some of it, if you're sensitive, you'll not be happy that you went there.
That's right. Yeah. It's basically whatever crass saying that you can come up with, or crass visual, or offending something, it's on there. And you could buy it in a shirt form.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that, Kev. What are some of the good ones that you got?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I there's so many good ones, but the one that really, really stuck out to me was it's a guy in a wheelchair at the top of a flight of stairs, okay? And he's at the top in a wheelchair, and at the bottom is a slinky, and it says, "Slinky wins."
Oh, that's awful. Why am I laughing?
I know, right?
What is wrong with me? I'm sorry. That's my sense of humor. I apologize.
Oh, mine too. Yeah, for sure.
You get to the point. Kevin and I have always had the sense of humor as we challenge you to try to offend us.
That's correct.
And there's nothing you can say.
Nothing. We've already talked about this. Nothing. Because I'm not going to let you get the satisfaction. Number one, but I know the intent is just to make us laugh.
That's it. Kev, I got caught in rabbit holes, and this has happened to me before, but I was really into it. Was the behind the scenes stories of the making of some of the classic movies, of all time. I've become fascinated with it, like particularly after I watch one of them or something like that, I like to go and see like the behind the scenes.
Right.
And just, like for example, Goodfellas.
Great movie.
Paul Sorvino, he played Paulie.
Uh-huh.
He at the last second, he almost pulled out of the movie.
Why?
Because he thought this is just too violent. He said, and if you remember, but we that was at the time probably the most violent movie we had ever seen.
Yeah.
And it starts off with, them stabbing in the trunk, the three guys stabbing in the trunk,
No, still alive. No, fucking piece of shit. Die. Look at me. Look at my fucking eyes. Die.
So Paul Sorvino he went to, his family. He's like, I'm going to pull out of it. It's just too much. I don't want to be associated with it. And his family's like, are you fucking kidding me? It's Scorsese and De Niro. And Dad, you're not really known really well. This can change everything for you. It's basically what his family said. And it did.
I can't believe that he would think about getting out of that. Such a great movie.
Yeah, initially he was happy. He's like, oh, I got this great part, and Scorsese and everything like that. Mob boss. And then they go through rehearsals, and he's reading the script more and more. He's like, God, this is ultra violent. this is terrible, you know?
It was ultra violent.
And you know, he didn't like fully grasp the concept of, you know, you got to you know, paint these mafia and mob figures. This is what they do.
Mm-hmm. Which I would have thought he would have known that.
Well, yeah. And, you know, he had some, you know, he's Italian, so he had some, he didn't want to, you know, feed into that whole stereotype thing either.
But if it's real, if it's true, it's not a stereotype.
Exactly. Henry Hill wrote it. Henry Hill is half Italian, and he wrote it.
Yeah.
So, Kev, another one was the movie Dazed and Confused, filmed in the early 90s in Austin with Matthew McConaughey and a lot of people that blew up and became big, like Ben
Affleck.
Ben Affleck was in there, played a douche.
Oh, he was a dick. Yeah.
Total dick. But I don't know if you knew this or not. Sean Andrews, he's the guy that played Linklater, you know, Mila Jovovich boyfriend.
Okay.
He was supposed to be a huge and prominent role in that movie and a big character in the movie. But according to the, you know, the documentaries, he was such a dick on the set.
Oh, really?
That they didn't even like put him in some key scenes that he was supposed to excel in, and they cut most of his role. They cut him.
Wow.
Yeah, he was just such a huge dick. And you know, so a side note, and this is crazy. You know, he was 21 years old, and Mila was 16 years old.
I knew she was young.
She was a Russian model. You know, 16 years old. They actually, you know, had a thing.
Wow.
And he actually married her until her mom found out and got it annulled.
Uh-huh.
So he was 21 years old, marrying a 16-year-old, being a dick on the set, having his role cut down. And the thing is, you know, they say he's got a natural talent. He's really good. He was supposed to be like really a big star, and this is going to be his breakout. But he was such an asshole, and his career never took off because everybody just fucking hated him.
Gotta treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yeah, but I bet you didn't know. Isn't that crazy?
I didn't know that.
She was 16 and he was 21, and he went and eloped with her during the filming.
Wow.
He's like, she is so hot. I will never do better than this. You know, she's under my spell. I'm going to just, you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. She's a very pretty lady.
Yeah. So, and here's another one, Kev, I thought really interesting. I was watching first off, I watched Grease.
I love that.
It's the only musical I can really watch, to be honest with you.
Oh, no, you've watched South Park, Bigger, Longer, Uncut. That's a musical too.
All right. You know, that's different. But, you know, did you know Olivia Newton-John, she was hired and they had an audition with her, but she demanded that the studio give her a screen test because she was worried that she would be such a bad actress that she would ruin the movie.
No kidding.
So she demanded that they give her a screen test. She's like, I didn't want to ruin that movie because, you know, I knew John Travolta, you know, was in it, and Stockard Channing, who had played Rizzo,
right,
and had played that role on Broadway, which is why she was so good at it.
Uh-huh.
You know, she was blown away by them in the readings and everything like that. You know, even Kaneki, you know, Jeff Conway.
Yeah.
Who played Zuko on Broadway. Did you know that?
Didn't know he played Zuko.
Yeah, he was supposed to be Zuko, and then the studio came to him and said, "Hey, we got Travolta," and he goes, "Okay, I'll be Kaneki." He knew.
Yeah, for sure.
And another little tidbit that you'll be interested: Travolta made more money off of the soundtrack of that record than anything else he had ever done, ever.
Even over Saturday Night Fever.
Yes, he made more money off of that. That's the reason why he can buy planes. Even today, it makes him millions a year.
I'm sure.
So yeah, I thought that was interesting. That
here's something that two things actually with your rabbit hole. Whitney Houston did not want to be in The Bodyguard.
No,
she was afraid. She didn't think she would be able to carry the role.
No, Kevin Costner is my co-star. I can't do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, much like Olivia Newton-John. And then the other thing was that, wow, this just plays into it perfectly. We just brought up Costner. Do you know that Clint Eastwood almost kicked him out of a movie?
What movie?
It was a movie that Clint Eastwood directed, and Kevin Costner was the star. And so I don't know the movie, but they needed to do a shot. They needed to do a shoot. And this was basically what I was watching was a video on Clint Eastwood and why he's such a beloved director, not actor, but director in Hollywood. It's because he doesn't waste money and he doesn't waste time. And so knowing that, they needed to do a shoot. And so they went to get Costner out of his trailer. And Costner's like, yeah, I'll be there in a minute. I got things I got to take care of. Clint Eastwood said, all right, fuck him. Go get his double. So he shot it with the double. And after they're done shooting it, then Costner comes out and goes, all right, I'm ready to go. Eastwood's like, oh, we already did it.
Oh, my God. What movie was that?
I'll have to look it up. Whatever he was in with that Clint Eastwood directed.
Because I would have to go like watch that movie and then try to figure out which scene that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you watch The Crow with Brandon Lee and you watch the scene where he was shot and killed.
Nice outfit. Not sure about the face, though. I just want him. Well, you can have him.
I see you have made your decision. Now let's see you enforce it.
Oh, this is already boring the shit out of me. Kill him! That had to hurt.
Right.
It's like, boy, I wonder if they use some of the actual, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I thought they used it. They didn't use it?
I don't think when he was shot in the stomach, I think that they had to play something else. I don't think they used that actual one, because for the family.
Oh, yeah.
But it's still really good, It was still they used a different take.
Okay.
Because the one where he got killed was like the third or fourth or fifth take or something like that.
Oh, man.
Good, but it looks. I slow-moed it and all that stuff. I've slow-moed it and it's like, wow.
I went down the same rabbit hole with The Exorcist a couple weeks ago. You know the guy that wrote The Exorcist, William Peter Blatty? He was a comedian.
Shut up.
Uh-huh.
Nothing funny about that shit.
No, it was actually based on a real story. He had read it while he was a college student. But yeah, he did sketch comedy.
It could have been a bet or something like that, like a friend of his. I bet you can't write a decent script where a little girl is spitting pea soup.
No, his then girlfriend, who he ended up marrying, she was the catalyst to him writing that book. She's like,
Crazy.
your comedy career, it's kind of stalling. She's like, why don't you get back to that book you were thinking about writing? And he did.
Wow. And that was enough, wasn't it?
That was it.
Hey, Kev, one other movie
Uh-huh.
that I went down the rabbit hole was Forrest Gump, the movie Forrest Gump.
Tom Hanks, yeah, sure.
I was shocked. Travolta was offered that role.
As Forrest Gump?
Yes. So he would have shot Forrest Gump and Pulp Fiction back to back when they were released in 1994. He would have had back to back Forrest Gump and Pulp Fiction.
Holy cow.
Can you imagine?
No.
And he still to this day is bums out on it. But he says that from what Tom Hanks did with the role, I mean, that's not where he was going.
It'd be really funny now that we know this, is to take some of the line of Pulp Fiction and put him in Forrest Gump. Like if John Travolta mixed up the roles.
Well, Kev, let's do this then. I'm gonna, since you do a pretty decent Travolta, if it's Travolta, I don't know what love is. I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is, Jenny. How would Travolta have done that?
I don't know what love is. I'm not a smart man, Jenny. Yeah, I know. I just kept running and running and running.
Give me the box of chocolates.
Hey, Mr. Cotter, you know life's a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're gonna get.
I love it. That's hilarious. Kev, another little thing I think you'll find interesting. When they shot the park bench narration part,
Yes.
they did that the whole thing at the very end. And Hanks knew the story so well because he just shot the whole movie that they just let the camera roll.
That's not scripted.
You know, they had a script,
Uh-huh.
but he would just look at, you know, each little thing and just be like, okay, I got it. I know. And he would use his own words and how Forrest Gump would do it.
Crazy.
And they did it so quick because he knew, you know, first off, he'd been that character for 3.5, 4 months already. And second off, he knew the story like the back of his hands. Yeah, the back of his hand. So he just rattled that off. Isn't that crazy?
That's phenomenal.
And not only that, okay, this is funny too, is remember the ping pong scene?
Yes.
It took the longest to shoot. You want to know why?
Please tell me.
The real Chinese professional ping pong champion couldn't sync up the motions without the ball, you know, because they shot that without the ball.
Sure.
You know, because they can't have an actor playing like that, even though the actual pro probably plays that fast.
Absolutely.
But he couldn't sync up, so it took forever. Tom Hanks was great. He had it down.
Wow.
he had it completely out, but they had to keep stopping and everything like that. And the Chinese champion he was a Chinese world champion. I don't know his name. You know, I can't remember his name.
Ping.
Yeah, Mr. Pong. Yeah, I mean, he couldn't do it. He just couldn't do it. And finally, he got it down. Finally, he did it.
Yeah, you practice it enough, you'll eventually come.
You know, because he was nervous about working with Tom Hanks too. Check this out. He was a fan in China because, you know, at that time, Bosom Buddies, that TV show, that was huge in China. You know,
Yeah.
so he was Kip in that show, and so he was the Chinese ping pong player was freaking out that he's playing with the Bosom Buddies guy. Kev, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to call an audible at the line of scrimmage on our top 3 today.
Just when you thought they couldn't count any higher, it's Tuttle Kline's top 3.
You gave me a great idea during this episode when you said that the richest man in Asia, $600 million wedding.
Yeah.
If you are the richest man on planet Earth,
Uh-huh.
top 3 things frivolous that you would do with your money, regardless of what the cost would be. I mean, this guy, he hired Justin Bieber to play his son's wedding.
Yeah. So, okay. So you can read all about this, but yeah. So in March, they just got married this past weekend. So in March, they had the engagement party and he paid $6 million for Rihanna to come play the engagement party. Then he had $10 million for Justin Bieber to come play the wedding reception. The wedding lasted 3 days. And Tim, this is why you and I would have never been able to go, because the wedding invitations were 50 pages and 9 of the pages were exactly how you had to dress for all 3 days. 9 pages on the dress code.
Wow.
No, thanks. I'll send a gift.
Yeah, people are like weighing it. It's like, it's going to be a good wedding, though, Justin Bieber. But yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. All right. So I'm buying frivolous things now, huh? Okay.
You are Elon Musk money.
Yeah.
What silly, frivolous things will you want done because you don't care what anything costs?
Well, I'm gonna buy the Denver Broncos. All right. I'm gonna buy the Denver Broncos, and I'm actually gonna get some good players in there. Probably get rid of Sean Payton and bring in a different coach. So,
you don't like Sean Payton?
Nah, I don't. Didn't like him when he was with the Saints.
What bothered you about him?
That he's kind of dictatorial. It's his way or no way. And I don't think in this current climate, the way that athletes are, you can't do that. That's why Saban got out, you know? Saban got out. Yeah, Saban got out because of NIL and because of the transfer portal, because he said now you don't know how to relate to kids.
Well, and you don't have to.
Exactly.
His was the NIL. I mean, back in the day, he would get the top 1, 2, and 3 quarterback, top 1, 2, and 3 running backs, and now you can't afford them cash wise.
Yeah, well, because before NIL, it was you're coming here because you're going to win a championship.
Yeah.
Now it's like you might not win a championship, and I ain't paying you.
Yeah, exactly. So, whereas, Georgia, they got ahead of it.
Yeah, they did.
Georgia, have you seen their NIL budget?
No, I haven't.
It's the gross domestic product of a lot of second world nations.
Well, hey, and it's not just because I'm living here now and I get inundated with the information, but watch out for Missouri over the next couple of years. The University of Missouri.
They got an influx of cash.
Yeah, there's a lot of hype on the University of Missouri. So,
good. Well, the only problem though is these recruits. We got to go fucking live where?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. That's why I don't understand, Kev, why, I could get, Austin's a great place, so I understand UT. I don't understand though why, like, the University of Miami, the Hurricanes don't get every recruit.
Yeah, because you're in Miami.
Yeah, or how does Pepperdine, have you ever been there? Malibu?
Well, that's expensive though.
NIL. All right, what were your other two? You got the Broncos in your hand.
Ever since the year of inception, I'm going to buy a Lamborghini from every year since it was made until now. That's my dream car, man.
I love it.
Yeah, that's my dream car.
Oh, yeah.
Always has
love
been.
it.
Always has been.
I wonder what that would cost. How many years? Like 30 years, 40 years?
Oh, geez.
50 years? How long? Oh, no, it's in the 60s. It's in the 60s. Because I remember Ferrari, they wanted to compete against Ferrari. And it was something in the 60s. So 60 years that's nothing though for you. You're a multi-billionaire. You could do that.
Yeah, Lamborghini, he used to work for Ferrari. And he brought Ferrari an idea, and Ferrari said, no, that ain't ever going to work. He's like, okay, fuck you. I'll make my own company. Yeah,
it's like the Ferrari's like, doors up in the air? Oh my gosh, you're so silly. All right, let me see. Let's start off, Kev. Obviously, I'm going to hire Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, and John Paul Jones, and Jason Bonham, the son of John Bonham. I just want one song. I want them to put together an arrangement for In the Light.
One song.
Prices doesn't matter, Yeah. I mean, Robert, I know you don't want to do the Zeppelin thing, but you've got to have some price, right, for one song?
Well, yeah, and it's a private performance. You're not inviting anybody, are you?
Nope. Yeah. Just me and some friends. So there'll be 3 people there.
I was going to say.
Second one, Kev, I had the Lamborghini idea myself.
Okay.
But I want to wreck them.
Okay, well, there you go. So I'll buy them, then you buy them from me, and then you go wreck them.
Yeah, like I think it'd be funny as hell to, do like Evel Knievel, line 30 of them up in a row, and then use another one to jump them over a ramp. And just do shit like that. Just completely destructive, random. I don't know why. I just think that'd be funny.
Because it would be, it would cause outrage.
Yeah.
Look at this guy's doing all those beautiful cars. They cost so much.
Yeah. Kev. And the third one, I think I've alluded to this before, but if you don't remember, I'll bring it up. I'm going to make my own Death Star. And just have it hovering in the atmosphere.
There you go. Yeah.
And then, if somebody's a dick, and it has it coming, I would just, put in the coordinates of where the dick is, and the Death Star would fire a laser.
Am I far when ready?
No more dick.
Yeah, no more dick. This world would be a much better behaved world, man.
Oh, absolutely.
This Tuttle billionaire guy's got a Death Star floating around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I guarantee you that politicians would have no problems whatsoever making sure that we had our constitutional rights.
Am I far when ready?
So would you be the sole arbiter of the laser fire, or would you have a tribunal?
Tribunals. It seems like a lot of red tape, Kev. I like quick action.
Okay, so you're the only one with access to the laser.
Now, I promise I won't be a dick about it. I won't use it for abuse or anything like that. I won't abuse the privilege. I mean, it's just like, oh, you guys did terrible things and raped and murdered. Okay, well, yeah, sorry.
Am I far when ready?
Don't, officer, don't worry about the handcuffs. 3, and officer, step back just for a second. 3, 2, 1.
There you go.
Would that be awesome?
Now you don't got to write a report, officer. I know you hate doing that.
I took care of it. Thanks, Tim. You're welcome. You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. Here's a coupon for a dozen donuts. Come on, man. Would that be cool to have your own Death Star?
That would be very cool to have your own Death Star.
I mean, it was uncool for the Empire and Darth Vader to have a Death Star because they're dicks.
Right.
I'd used my Death Star for good.
He would be a benevolent Death Star operator.
The only problem with that, though, I just thought about it right now, Kev, is you can never have like a waking hour without somebody be coming up and going, okay, there's this guy. You're not going to believe what he did. He ripped me off with this used car, sold me a lemon. Tim, please Death Star this motherfucker for me.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you couldn't walk down the street.
It's Bruce Almighty. It's the Jim Carrey movie, Bruce Almighty, when he wanted to be God and he gets inundated with all the requests.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the only problem with it.
So wait, Klein, are you telling me that I would be God? I want that Death Star now.
I don't want that at all. I don't want that at all. I could do this to alleviate that problem, though, Kev, is I could just have, hey, listen, we're just going to have Tuesday request day. That's it. And if you request on any other day besides Tuesday, you'll never get your request taken care of. So I would just be like, okay, every Tuesday, I'm taking requests now.
Well, but there's going to be those jerks that try and do it outside of regular business hours. So I think the penalty needs to be harsher. You request outside of Tuesday, you're the dick.
Am I far when ready?
How would you like 4 million volts in your forehead?
Wow.
Is that awesome or what?
This is great.
I mean, is this the greatest?
I'm having hypothetical billionaire remorse now.
Yeah. Is this the greatest ever? Can you imagine? Kev, you text me and you go, "Oh, we got a local politician here in Missouri. You're not believing what this scumbag is doing." No problem, Kev. Just give me a location.
Yeah, and I'm up at midnight. I'm up at 11:59 on Monday night, just waiting to be the first in line.
Exactly.
That would be so funny.
Kev, you're FOT, friends of Tuttle. You got a direct line.
You know what? I was brushing my teeth this morning, and I was thinking about that because we did not get together last week because of the power situation, and I was thinking, I was like, and this is like way out of left field, but I'm like, man, Tim's like one of the perfect friends.
I've never been complimented in that way. Usually people are trying to get away from me.
No, I think about it. Okay. You're like the perfect guy friend. You don't require a lot of attention. Doesn't mean I got to call you every day. Don't even mean I got to text you every day. We don't argue.
I prefer that you not.
Exactly. I don't have to come over. You don't have to come over. We get along every time we talk. We make each other laugh.
Yeah.
That's like the perfect friend situation for guys.
Kev, and again, it just goes into the situation of, I am the best guy in the world from a distance.
That's not true. We're hanging out this week.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Wednesday, we are doing the Snowdrop Foundation luncheon. Cannot wait. The scholarship luncheon. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Can I tell you what my lovely wife did?
What did your lovely wife do?
Oh, my God, dude. She's been sick for 3 weeks. Okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Not like really sick. Okay. Like to the point where she's throwing up and coughing, can't swallow, throat's closing. Yeah. It's been bad. Okay. She's starting to come around. But so yesterday she decides that she's not going to be able to go. Perfect. Right.
She's not going?
No, she can't go. There's no way.
Oh,
so she goes on to American Airlines and cancels the flight. See where this is going? She canceled my flight too.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
So she immediately, after I tell her this, calls up the airline, and the airline says, "Yeah, no, we can't rebook that for you at the same price. It's going to cost you $500." So she says, "Do you want to do it?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not doing it. I'm not spending $900 total. It would have been $900 because we'd already paid $420, and they want to charge us $500." So guess who's driving to Houston?
You're driving?
Driving to Houston by myself, buddy.
Awesome. Pick me up.
Great.
You're going to pick me up then. We're going to save. I'm just kidding.
So, yeah. So let me ask you this question. All right. So to drive the shortest distance is 663 from Springfield, where we live, to Houston. Okay. The longest is 773. Okay. So it's 735. So it's 100 more miles. Okay. But 40% of the speed limit on that extra 100 miles is 80 miles an hour. So would it be faster to go the extra 100 than it would to go in 45 to 55 zones?
Much faster.
Okay. All right. That's what I was thinking.
Much.
I like that drive. So I'll probably end up doing that.
Well, then I better let you go so you can edit this thing, get this thing done so you can hit the road. So make sure you all like, follow, download, subscribe, give us a rating. Check out our awesome merchandise on the Tuttle Kline podcast Facebook page. We would appreciate the heck out of it. Kev, what does the Fuzzy Mike have coming up this week?
We talked about it already. We talked about, I talk about how the office of the president needs to be respected. I don't give a shit if it's your guy in there or their guy in there. You got to respect the office, and no president ever should be shot. Should never be shot. That is, not only is that person a human being, fucking president.
And really, if you really look at it, they are just a figure, they're a puppet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, they're just the face. It's the people who got them there that run the country, the money and the people around them that have scripted them all throughout the process.
We are Americans, and it's about damn time we start acting like Americans.
And let me tell you this, if you don't start acting like Americans, you never know when there's going to be a Death Star floating around the atmosphere. I'm out of here, dude.
That's it for this episode of the Tuttle Kline Show. See you this Wednesday for an all-new episode. And you can get more Kline on his podcast, The Fuzzy Mike, with new episodes on Tuesday. Stay fuzzy, friends. And thanks for listening to the Tuttle Kline Show. Yo. All right, take the yo out.